Welcome to the weekly open mic. We do this call for you folks. MSPs asked to hear what was new with the platform, what we've been working on, what bugs were fixed, and then also you folks wanted to do a little R&D or rob and duplicate from the automation ideas from your peers. With that, a few reminders. Use Discord. Ask questions. I know of, let me count, 1, 2, 0 MSPs that were successful with automation that never asked a question. So please jump in the coop. If you don't want to use the coop, use your channel, ask questions. We're here to answer them so you can get successful with automation. Also, if you are engaging with us in Discord, please reply in a thread or tag us. We are monitoring many hundreds of channels simultaneously, and that alert helps us to know to go back to your channel. Also, if you're building automations, make sure to add time savings. The best automations are the easiest ones to forget. And with that, I have a few announcements. My first one does not stress out marketing, but I promise my next one will. Last weekend, we didn't want to talk about it or make a big deal about it because we didn't know what the performance implications were going to be exactly, but we made a large number of performance improvements to the app last weekend, and we've heard a number of positive reports on the performance. Some people spotting upwards of 50% performance improvement for long-running workflows. We plan to, let's add some more performance while we're at it. So this weekend, we're doing a 30-minute time, I think between 3 to 3:30 Eastern on Saturday. We're going to do some things that may require us to bounce some processing engines. So the front end workflows, all that, will still be able to use the product and edit workflows, but workflow execution over that 30-minute period on Saturday may be slower than normal, so we can make things faster than normal. For any of you that noticed the performance increase that we made last weekend, feel free to mention some of your things you noticed in the chat. Also, let's talk about what's new. So next week is DattoCon. It's always fun to make an announcement at DattoCon, maybe make an announcement at IT Nation. So at DattoCon, we have a press release going out on the 29th. And so I figured, you know what? Why not just tell all you folks on the call instead of waiting until the 29th? First off, Danial with an A, when is the app platform going to be available to everyone without asking?
Never. Oh, just kidding. Gotcha. App builder, I'm sorry, is we have an announcement coming out on Tuesday for it to be available with some other exciting things that maybe Aaron will talk about, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he'll leak.
So it'll be available on everyone's account on Tuesday, the platform?
Thanks. We can do that. Yep.
Awesome. So first off, GA of app platform available in your account come Tuesday.
Let's call it open beta.
Open beta. Okay. Next thing is we're releasing our first 3 Rewst made apps. If you kind of follow how we do things when we launched the workflow builder, I'm sure you could build workflows on it, but it took time because there were no other ones that you could copy or learn from. So we made the first batch of workflows and put them in a marketplace. We don't have something like that for our platform right now until next week. We're announcing a forms portal that we built, an operational analytics dashboard, and then my favorite, our first pass at an all-in-one client portal, a self-service client portal built on app platform. These apps will be available to you sometime in November. We have to get to production, the import and exporting of apps into your app platform that will be in your account. The code for that is done. It's currently in QA, and we don't think we're going to be able to get it into prod by next week. So at some point in November, it will be available for you to install. If you don't think you can install it or you need help installing it, please reach out to your CSM, and they will help you with timing on when it may be available in November, and then help you get in contact with someone that can help you. This puts me thinking about our long-term goal. And our long-term thinking is there's always going to be a percentage of the market that wants to build automations. And then there's going to be a percentage of the market that just wants to be automated. For the folks that just want to be automated, one of the biggest benefits is client self-service. We've, in this process of building our first pass at a client portal, we talked to a lot of MSPs. And the overwhelming feedback was, here's the things that we need. Oh, but by the way, we have problems getting our customers adopting our client portal. And I had Daniel with an A calling me in a panic going, are we doing the right thing, Aaron? Why are we doing a client portal when during all of our discussions, MSPs are saying their customers aren't adopting them? And so we thought about it. And the reason why they're not adopting the client portal, we believe, is because they're not providing the clients much value. And if you put it in the context of online banking, imagine if you used your online banking portal and you transferred money between accounts, and all that did was open a ticket for a teller to manually do the transfer. Or I could pick up my telephone and call my MSP, get the engineer on the phone. They're going to do it for me immediately on the phone and open the ticket for me and close it for me. So of course, I'm not going to use a client portal because it actually takes longer. But if the client portal gives us immediate gratification, where I'm a client, I log in, I fill out a form, I press enter, work is immediately starting to get done, we believe there will be a much higher level adoption of client portals. What do you folks think? Anyone want to say anything? Maybe drop something in chat. Am I crazy?
I would say, yeah, a lot of it is proven value to the customer, and making it simple, streamlined. I know ConnectWise Manage had a portal for 1,000 years. None of our clients touched it, despite a link being in every single ticket. None of our clients touched it because there were more convenient options. But when we moved to Cloud Radial, we actually did see some adoption. It's still not great, but we saw some adoption because at least it was half decent. It was functional and looked somewhat modern, and that made a big difference. Just making it easy and clean and clear, and also information that's valuable to them rather than whatever ConnectWise decides to show us, which is mostly just ticket data, and that's absolutely it. So yeah, for us, for sure. And obviously you get buy-in when you tie it in with Rewst forms and that type of stuff. So you already have form submitters. Those form submitters will now have a great place to find their forms, and that'll encourage them to use it for tickets. That's the way I see it, at least.
Daniel, thank you for just chiming in and saying what's on your mind. Now, I didn't realize you had an A in your name. So
Yep.
when I do talk about Daniel with an A and I complain about Daniel with an A, I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yep.
I'm talking about all the Canadian ones. Um, anyone
He's
else
adopted
wanna?
Canadian. That's all right.
Oh, is he? Uh, anyone else have any feedback?
You and I spoke about this, Aaron, like 2 years ago, I think. And I think it's definitely the right thing and the right move because, like Daniel said, we've struggled with Cloud Radio, even that, which was way better than the PSA one. And I know for sure the minute we can give them some instant gratification, it's going to be what leapfrogs it forward.
And what we want you folks to do is once you get it working, once you trust it, maybe you customize it some, customize the colors, make it look like your brand. I would go when you're talking to prospects, show them the portal. Show and say, hey, this ain't opening a ticket. Sure, a ticket will get open, but it's part of the automation. When you hit enter, work's immediately getting done. So if you need to, terminate someone at 5 p.m. and don't have time to call us, just hit enter. All right, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about this for the rest of the call because we have, hey, did someone from the Rewst side just want to show like some proof of life? I should have said, hey, share your screen while I was talking. Daniel with an A, did we have someone that was going to share the screen?
Why don't you ask the other Daniel with an A? James Hunt.
James,
Yeah.
just
I was
like,
gonna say, you volunteer a new guy. It's all good. It's all good. Give me a second.
actually, James, you sound a little bit like Jesse.
Do I?
Yeah,
I'm so
Jesse's.
sorry. You've been cursed. Welcome to the club.
Just gotta get his face down, and then it'll
I
be
don't know what you're
perfect.
talking. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Can't even
Daniel
find the
with an A
screen.
does.
It's a hard face to get down, is what a lot of people tell me.
Not that.
I don't know what they mean when they say it that way, but
I don't know if anybody else on the call has noticed this, but Daniel with an A, not Canadian, will randomly just change the text that's at the bottom of his camera. It's fun to watch.
Does he?
Yeah.
All I want to do is show you like some of the look and feel capabilities of App Platform. This is the actual landing page. We're going to be adding to it. We're going to be changing it. The design over time may change, but we're really like hacking away at it to make cool stuff. Can you click on like onboard new employee just so you can see how we've embedded and themed the forms to match? And you can too. Can you go back to the home page? And then does view tickets even work? Can you click on view
Yeah.
tickets on this one? You could see a list of tickets. Of course, this is demo data, so summaries and links are all empty. You can also filter and group by on this list as well. Does the color toggle by any chance?
Maybe.
Boom. Toggle the color.
The right color.
Just like client new user ad in Rewst, you'll be able to completely dissect this to see how we built it. You'll be able to hack it up and change it the way you want to. You can learn from it and build your own stuff if you so choose. I see in the chat maybe folks saying that they'll give it a shot? Awesome. All I ask is we've been really, really open in the beta and the alpha and the testing of this. You folks will be the first when we get it out in November, when import export is live in the product. Just be kind to folks. You're going to run into problems. Report your problems. I'm sure we'll, off the top of my head, I say use the app platform channel, but we may come up with better ways for you to report them. The cool parts is most of the stuff that you'll report are likely just going to be workflow and app platform setting changes we need to make, and not necessarily software changes. So hopefully we'll be able to fix most of them quickly for you. Did I forget anything, Daniel?
I don't think so. I think you covered everything.
All right, let's get moving because there are some really cool, don't we have some cool app platform demos today from customers as well?
We do. We do.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to pass it back away. Thanks, folks.
All right. Yeah. And so we can jump over to Nick for his update. Are you really still or are you frozen? There you are.
Hey, I froze for a second. I'm guessing you called me, Ash?
Yes, it's your turn now.
All right, thank you. Cool announcement and demo there, Aaron. We're all super excited for app platform. Let's talk about some enhancements and bugs we have from the development and product team. So one of those right off the bat is we've added the ability to override app themes using org variables in App Builder. So if, for instance, you wanted to have a different theme for different orgs or different customers that view an app, you can now do that. For instance, if you wanted to create an app and distribute it to different customers and have it branded with their colors and theme, you can now do that with an org variable. Multiplayer workflows V1. I've been talking about it for a couple weeks now. We've kicked off a staged rollout. We're currently at 10% available to users. We're going to up that over the next couple of days until everybody has it. Just a quick reminder on that. This is our first pass at it. We know it doesn't do everything, but it will at least show you if there is another user looking at the workflow that you're looking at. Synnex Australia integration is now live for everybody. Making progress on integrations. We fixed a bug with saving new actions and custom integrations V2. Fixed a bug causing front end to crash when deleting components or opening a page navigator when using the app builder page templates. We resolved a bug that caused obfuscated integration secrets to be stored in the database when resaving an integration. And fixed a bug with our upcoming GitHub webhook creation actions. We're still in the QA process there, but thought I'd mention that there's, found a couple issues and we're making progress towards releasing that. We still have a number of these integrations being tested by our QA team. We also have, Aaron mentioned page import export or app import export for App Builder. We've mentioned this a couple times as well. The export import for pages is deployed and available for staff users. We're reviewing that internally. And then additionally, we have full application import export is in code review. We have a pull request open for that. Developers are reviewing that as quickly as possible, trying to get this functionality out for you all so that we can use that beautiful portal that Aaron just showed off. These are prerequisites for doing cloning, which will basically give you a button in the app to perform the same thing that import export does. It will allow us to clone these applications out to various customers. And then that's a prerequisite for getting that functionality into the marketplace to be used with crates to achieve our eventual goal of having full app platform apps in the marketplace for people to install. So similarly, this is the same path we took when we started the company with workflows. We built some workflows and then we needed a way to get them out to users. So we're like, well, we can just give them the fastest thing, which is allow users to export and import workflows. And then let's take another step out of that process and give them a button to just do that for various other orgs. And then the next step is let's get them all in the marketplace. So we're following that same roadmap here. We want to get these things into your hands as quickly as possible. And this is the fastest way for us to do it. Some other things coming up. We have some UI enhancements for Microsoft Cloud Bundle. We also have a pull request open for that. And we're working on a number of integrations and some refactors here. Crush Bank still coming, Nodeware, Connect Secure v4 are all in various stages of development code review. SQL database integration refactor, PAX8 refactor, we're updating those to make them better. That's all I have for today. Does anybody have any questions on any of these? Scope of the SQL DB refactor. So the SQL database integration was created prior to us having integration multi-tenancy that would allow you to have multiple configurations for the same integration. That was a requirement for the SQL integration because it was very obvious that users would need to connect to multiple SQL databases. So when we built that, we hacked something together real quick to support that. And now we are changing it to follow the same pattern and use the same tools as all of our other integrations in terms of multi-tenancy. You will also be reviewing the functionality there to make sure that that integration is as easy to use as it possibly can, and probably fix and improve some errors with that as well. I would anticipate that if you're currently using it, all of your SQL databases will continue to work once we roll that out. Connect Secure, I'm excited about that one as well, guys. All right, I think that's all I got. I'm excited for some awesome demo, Dash.
Thank you. All right, so let's jump over to Daniel. Daniel will give us his marketplace update. We'll get the education update from Eddie, and then we'll jump into our demos, starting with Dan Hayes for an internal demo. Mostly saying that for myself, so I remember. Go ahead.
Excellent, thank you. I actually wanted to start by introducing our newest senior product manager. Sarah just joined the team this week, and she has already provided incredible amounts of value, helping out with the launch of App Builder that Aaron just leaked. And yeah, so I just wanted to give Sarah a second maybe to just say hi to everybody.
Yeah, hey everyone. Very excited to be here. I'm going to be working primarily on App Builder, so I am all ears. If you have any thoughts, please shoot them over. I can't wait to hear what you think and get to know all of you.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Sarah has amazing experience. She's founded her own company. She's worked at Zapier, Seismic, Twitter, a whole bunch of different places. She's extremely capable. Please feel free to reach out to her in Discord, as well as me, as always. But yeah, ping her in the app platform channel, all that fun stuff. And yes, she is way better than me, and I can't wait for her to be my boss. I'm very excited for it. So yeah. Okay, what have we been working on? So we made a couple changes to some existing crates to add some functionality to them. So the clean up global address list from disable users crate, we added the ability to give an exclusion list. So we have an org var that's available, and you can add user IDs into there, and they will be excluded from being removed. We have made some improvements to the document groups crate. So we've implemented the automation log. That's a new standard for the crates that we are releasing. We've made some changes to follow proper workflow naming convention and added some actions related to automation logging and best build practice. We've also worked on a couple bugs this week. The GDAP setup crate, if you've used this to get your GDAP relationship set up, you may have noticed that there was a no domain name appearing in the relationship title, so we fixed that. The billing count report crate. This was something that actually was a fix for quite a few customers that we've got some good positive feedback on lately. Terry made some changes to fix a bug where IDs were missing. So we were not getting a complete set of licenses when we were creating that billing count report. And then finally, the PAX 8 purchase license workflow. We fixed errors where license could not remediate due to start date being in the past. The other stuff that we are working on that's coming up soon that I actually don't have listed here that I should is the fun stuff that Adam, Ben, James, and a bunch of others have been working on, which are our first app crates, which will not be crates yet because we won't have them in the marketplace, but they will be available for import, export, or clone and sync clones. So that's it. And with that, I'll go back to Ash. I don't know if we have Dan next, but yeah, back to you, Ash.
We'll go to Eddie first, and then we'll jump in and just do demos from there on.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'm filling in for Brandon today. Usually he has a lot more hats than I do. Just paying homage to him, I got these two. So let's go ahead and dive into the updates. Let's keep it brief so that way the people who have demos have enough time. Game tip of the week, just take care of yourself. In the famous words of Marshawn Lynch, take care of y'all mental, take care of y'all bodies, take care of y'all chicken. So just take care of yourself. Be the best gamer you can by making sure your hardware is good. Shout outs to all of those who took the certification in past, both the foundations and the new clean automation certification as well. Thank you guys for all of the feedback that you have been providing us and giving us in these certifications. So really appreciate that. A couple of things that are coming down the pipe. We are launching a Rewst Foundations Bootcamp. So for those who have previously taken our 100 and 200 series, we have revamped those as self-serve, but we also want to provide means for those who like the more live, interactive type of environment. So we still have the clean automation series, and we're also kicking off this boot camp. So that's going to be not the coming week, but the week after. So November 4th and November 5th, we're condensing a lot of the content into these 2 days to again provide you guys this environment to get more interactive live environment. So look out for that. You can sign up. You can sign up for that over on CLUCK on our Calendly right here. Got a couple of updates as well in the documentation, couple of new pages, especially related to App Builder. We had the Adigy integration page as well. But really, those are the big updates. If you haven't done so already, sign up for your certification, get your cool badge, your certificate, access to our open secret Discord. And then again, we have the Foundations Bootcamp running not next week, but the week after. So hunting it back over to you, Ash.
Thank you, Eddie. All right, so now we are going to go over to Danial with an E, and he is going to demo something for us from our internal team.
Hey everyone, so I'll start sharing my screen. So this is a workflow that I made, I think back in August, and I just never really got a chance to show it off. But basically this is the crate for checking for disabled users that still have licenses assigned. Basically what this crate does is it will go through, find the users that are disabled and still have a license assigned, and then create a ticket. As part of that ticket, it will give you some information about the user, like whether or not they're a user mailbox or a shared mailbox. But there's some things to note about this workflow, so I'll just kind of go over like the general flow of it. So we first check for the webhook trigger org-var. And basically that org-var is important because that's used for the link to add a user to an ignore list, which that's defined down here. So essentially we check to make sure that org-var exists. And if it does, then we load it and then we use that down here whenever we filter out the users. And basically we're just doing one graph call and we're just checking to see whether the account's enabled and whether the count of licenses assigned is not equal to 0. So once we have that list, then we go and we process the users, and I'm doing that with items. But essentially in this workflow, we map the SKUs to friendly names because typically the SKU part number is not really that friendly. And then we go through and we get the user and mailbox details. If there's no mailbox details, then it just nulls them out. But then we compile a note and then we make a ticket. Now, one of the things that we do in this workflow is we just make sure that there's not an existing ticket already that's open. If there's no open ticket, we create it. And then if there is an open ticket, then we just update it. It's a pretty simple workflow, but it can be pretty useful for reclaiming licenses that potentially, shouldn't be assigned to a disabled user. So I'll just run that real quick, just so I can kind of get an example of what it looks like whenever it runs. And then I'll also pull up a example of one of the notes, and then I'll kind of show off how you would ignore a user. So this will just run through, and then once it completes, we'll be able to see the updated tickets. The tickets already exist for these two users in my test tenant. But we'll just go with this one. So then in here, we can see an example of the note, and I'll just pull that up and throw it into VS Code real quick. So we can see here, we can see the user's details, such as their ID and the UPN, and then their assigned licenses. And then we can also see like their email addresses, and then the mailbox type. And then if we want to ignore that user, then we just click on that URL. And that trigger is currently disabled. So let me fix that real quick. All right, there we go. So that should be running. And now this will take the path here, which essentially just checks if it's a webhook trigger and then updates the org bar. Now we should be able to pull up that recent result. Then we can see here, it just pulls the current variable and then updates it. And that's pretty much that workflow. Anyone have any questions?
You'd probably have to scroll quite a bit past the wave of your name. Linda, do you have a question?
No, I just clicked the wrong button.
Okay, they really should do something about those. Lucas has a quick question. Are you trolling, Lucas, or is it actually?
So genuinely, like early in the morning, like 5 minutes. And then I just let it go.
It just sits nicely. All right, let's jump into it. I'm sorry, Gareth. Are you on?
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, what I'm actually going to show you is kind of Aharon, my version of the client portal. So I actually developed something like this a couple of months ago, and I've actually been essentially, making it better and better. So let me quickly share my screen. So, kind of like Aharon said, obviously one of the issues is obviously trying to get clients to utilize it as much as possible. So here we were a little bit lucky because we actually have a client portal that installs directly on a desktop for all our clients, and essentially that's how they submit their tickets and everything else. So all we've done with that, we've added an extra button, and it'll essentially take them to here. So obviously you log in with your Entra, and then they get this page. Now, don't judge my HTML too much. No website developer, but as you can kind of see, it gives a breakdown what this portal is, and you've got your forms here. So you've got new user, staff leaver. The user groups, the reason why that's coming soon is because I've actually built all my own approval processes or customization. So as well as having the portal with all our customization, our branding, everything else in it, I also have all the workflows that do the same. So, our brand's pretty much across everywhere. We've got little mailbox manager, forwarding, and we've also got an issue. So the issues here that I've done is essentially I wanted it to be separate to our normal support tickets because, if someone's having an issue with Rewst, then obviously there's only going to be selected people who can go and deal with that issue. So I'm going to show you a screenshot. When you kind of submit it, it's only because obviously it's got some people's actual emails in the top part of what it sends to me as. It comes through as this, nice and simple, gets the name, gets the email automatically, what category they've chosen. It gives it an issue ID. So at the moment, I have this where it pulls that issue onto a Google Sheet for me, because essentially at the minute I'm the one who kind of does all this, but eventually we'll obviously put it into its own board and everything, but just helps separate your normal support ticket issues to the Rewst issues, which is quite good. So inside the category you have login issues, performance issues, feature requests I need to obviously change from here because that's not an issue as such. Bug reports another. So this gives them the opportunity to categorize kind of what exactly that problem is. So what I've kind of done after this is, hang on, the share buttons kind of get in the way. So when you actually click into them, a lot of clients as well. So this is something that I did have it where you just click like new user and it takes you straight to a form. Now the problem is you can put as much description on there as you want, but a lot of people don't seem to kind of understand certain things. So for instance, if you have somebody who's on AD, you're going to want them to be able to understand what OU is. I know we can auto kind of put that into the form and stuff, but some clients, they have multiple different OUs depending on location, stuff like that. So on here I've got like a general guide, kind of explains everything. So you'll see these shortly. This is kind of our own custom approval process, kind of screenshots of how all that goes, and then start onboarding, and it takes them directly to the form. And then as well as that, they've got a feedback. So this is kind of good. And actually a lot of clients have given us some really positive feedback with it. So they'll give us a rating, something they want to see, or, something they've enjoyed doing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a good success. But as well as that, at the moment, as you can see, this only shows stuff for 365. So the kind of like we do with your new users and stuff like that, when you're onboarding, obviously you have the choice of AAD or AD. So if they're only on AD, this form will actually change, but it's actually on the same page. So it just has that variable inside it. And then essentially when if they're on-prem, it'll just show a couple of extra options, because you've got on-prem security groups and everything else. So yeah, it helps clients to get that little bit of understanding of the form, and obviously you click the form, again, you get your normal form. So I'm not going to go through that because you guys have kind of seen it. So I have obviously been using this for quite some time. So I've actually had some time to develop it a little bit further. I am quite proud of this one. It's took me a long time to get it. And I only started learning HTML a couple of months ago. So if I refresh it, get nice little login. So Rewst test. So for instance, if you're logging in with your name, it's going to come with your name instead. So it's actually like customized for you. So so it's like a nice little intro straight away to yourself. You've got little hover buttons, little effects here, nice little particle background, and then you've got little 3D onboarding, staff leaving, email forwarding. So all these here are stuff that, except for the user groups, all the ones I've got my own processing, and this workflow here is essentially what I've only just finished. So this isn't rolled out to clients just yet because I've got a couple of things to do. But like with the new user guide, just kind of show you, just adds that nice little touch. When you scroll down, how it slides up. You've got little icons with it. Just keeps it clean and efficient. Just makes it look smooth, and it keeps people interested. Because you want Rewst to be as simple as possible, but at the same time, if you can make it look good, do it. And then this little feedback part down here. So I have also done a nice little touch, but I still haven't changed the white, and Dan's very much aware of this. I probably blinded everybody last time I showed this. So watch your eyes a little bit, but as you can see, there's nice little things here. Like you hit the moon, it'll turn to a sun, and then there you go. You've got light mode as well. So, and the best thing is, if you close this off, go back onto it, it'll remember it. It saves it in the cache. So you're not having to sit there constantly going from dark mode to light mode or anything like that. Whatever you choose, it will save it. we've had some good success with this because we can automate anything we want as a tech. We can make things amazing for the tech, but the amount of good response that we've had from this is, like last week alone, I think we had like 16 new users and 5 offboardings on here, and I've only got a couple of clients that I've actually shown this portal to. So yeah, it's been a great success, and a lot of them like that interaction, and how they got the breakdown, how quick and easy it is. So as well as kind of seeing everything you can customize on here, having your own logos, having your own text, having your names pop up, the one main thing for us is the kind of on the stuff with across the board with the change request with Rewst, that they are missing quite a lot of stuff when it comes to general processes for us on the client side. So like the approval, it is okay, but it lacks a lot of information. And I have done kind of been on here before and kind of demoed it, but it wasn't 100% complete. So for instance, if you had more than one approver, when they pressed approve, it would all approvers would appear in your ticket. So in other words, if you've got 5 approvers, only one approves it, it will update the ticket saying all 5 of them has done, because the way it can't read the list. Well, I've actually kind of fixed all that, so it's unique for everybody. So yeah, I'll quickly kind of show you a couple of things that mixes in with it. So this goes quite well with the portal itself and continuing keeping the customization kind of up. So you got a couple of things here. So if you're an approver, it's nice to kind of know, okay, what's actually happening with this workflow. They get a nice little one to basically say, oh, it's been bypassed because you are an approver. If you're a new user approver, you get stuff like this. So as you can see, it gives a nice basic information here. So, first name, last name, kind of everything you need, really. So on here as well, so you don't want it to show groups unnecessarily. So, if you're on-prem, you don't want that on-prem list of groups to also be on somebody who's on 365 only. So this is kind of the same as before. It's all the exact same template, except for in that template, it's just got a couple of variables in there that I'll basically check to see if that is on-prem or not. If they are, obviously it'll be the exact same email. I'm not making any further changes, except for it'll have the on-prem security groups and everything else with it. And then you get your nice little approve and deny. So I have had to. It was quite difficult with this a little bit on the actual email. So when I demoed it last time, it works perfectly in OWA, but obviously a lot of people use Outlook desktop app. So I had to learn how to create the HTML because the way the Java gets like torn out through Outlook desktop app. So I'll show you that little bit of code shortly because basically I've had to kind of double up on a lot of things. So again, this is just a general example, mailbox permissions, exact same sort of thing. This is the old one, as you can tell by the color. I haven't updated everyone with the new way yet, but it gives a breakdown of everything. So, it's again, our logo. There's kind of, it's all this is what I want people to see. Email forwarding requests, that sort of thing. It's a nice little breakdown. So it's saying what the source is, who submitted it, everything that needs here. There is obviously, a couple of different ones. Like as you can see, it's the same all throughout. I'm trying to make it as complete as possible. But kind of once that's been done, what it'll do. So if we go back to the new user one, for example, once it's been approved, we then have it where it'll send it to whoever's requested it. So that's really good because essentially, if it gets approved or denied, the person who's requested it is instantly getting updated on who's done that. So in other words, it's been denied, they can go sort it out internally. Or on this case, it's been approved, at least they kind of know, oh, that workflow is going to continue now. And then when it's done, so again, this is something else we've added. Some of these I do need to obviously update, or some of them it's because I haven't reran under the test tenancy for a while. So essentially, it'll be, I have changed this now, so it does do. So the same way I use it with the app platform, it goes to first name, last name. I've actually got that built in for most things now, but there is a couple others I need to do it. And then it embeds the one-time link directly into there. So a lot of the cases, if they haven't got a machine set up, you're going to want it where they can instantly have access to that account. So I wanted to make sure they get that confirmation email, but as well as that, they also get the password, so they can directly go log in. So for instance, if they're on Intune, the adapter deploy, it's doing stuff like that, they can essentially just go straight away, go access it. So within mere minutes, they've created the user. Again, if they're on Intune, they can sign in. The apps are going to deploy. So time our engineers come on. It's a quick 10-minute job. Pin apps, that sort of thing, and sync SharePoint if that's they're set up. So again, when it's denied, nice little red, and yeah, that's kind of the whole pattern I've got going with it all. So I'm going to quickly show you kind of what I mean with the approval. So this before, if you see the last ticket, it wasn't like this. So I said when you hit approved, it did it for all of them, and it does that even on the standard, because you can't have it in that list format. It kind of ruins it a bit. So as you can see here, it'll tell you who it's been sent to, and each test form. Sorry, they're reading out the email, but each approver has its own unique link, but it's all through the same webhook. So if we go back to here, I'll be able to explain a little bit more of how that works. So in the each approve or deny link, obviously I can't move my to show you, but if you look in the bottom right of that link, so for here it shows Rewst test. So inside that link, it's already got this email that I'm using. So when I hit approve or deny, it's already going to know. But because it's also using the same webhook, only one approver can press it. Because if somebody else presses it, essentially they'll just instantly get the error about the webhook being fulfilled. So it is really, really effective, and it's really, really good. So I'll quickly show you that before I show you this, just while we're on it. So the way the webhook kind of works is on the approval email. So obviously this here, it will create the webhook, and as you can see, there's a few links, because essentially I have to create it for each type of approver. So depending on how many approvers you've got is depending obviously how many of these you need to create. In my case, I've just put it as 5, and then essentially what it does inside each one, it's just a general email routing. So I've created each approver with its own variable. So all this is basically doing is checking against that variable and saying, oh, is it defined? No. Okay, then that means then there's only like 1, 2, or 3 approvers, because you don't want it to try and send out to all 5 because it's not all 5. And essentially what it'll do, it will send the approval email, and then obviously you're going to wait that response. But that wait response has got two different responses waiting from the exact same webhook. So what it's actually doing is waiting for the response of whether it was approved or denied, but at the same time it's also waiting to see what approvers links pressed it. So even though it's the same webhook, inside each one has a unique identifier for each approver, and that essentially waiting for that to come back. And when it comes back, as you can see, if webhook results equals the new user approval email, here we go, it knows it's approval 1, and then it will go to the org variable new user approver, in 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it will repeat. And that's how it generally captures that result. And then obviously at the end here, it will update the ticket to say whether it's been approved or denied, and that result will obviously go to the top level. So all this part kind of is two different things. Is kind of regardless, even if they are an approver, like I showed, you want them to kind of know what's going on, what's happening, and this is what happens. It'll pass through. Say you've been bypassed, and it'll run through there. So this is the kind of set up for all the ones that I showed you earlier. All the email forward and everything else, it's all set up in pretty much the exact same way. But I reckon it goes really well, kind of like what Aharon was saying about the customization and stuff. Is we could do all sorts with the text, but the amount of customization you can do, obviously for the client side as well, is amazing. Between using the portal and all this, as you can imagine, the amount that gets done that we don't have to get involved in it at all. All we're doing is analyzing the ticket and closing it off. So overall, it's been kind of great building all this out, and when you put them in bit by bit, it doesn't sound like much, but when you put it as a whole as this, you can kind of see the benefit of building it. So all the website is the portal. In my case, it's just simply little bit of HTML. So this is their landing page. So there's not much on here. The new user guide is going to be kind of similar sort of thing. But on the new one, which is something I found out, you can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is essentially what created my background. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I utilize it for all our clients and how they use it. Anybody got any questions or anything?
That's really amazing. You're getting a lot. Anybody have anything that they want to ask? Lots of celebrations. It's amazing.
I was definitely a bit nervous kind of showing this, and then when Aharon showed the portal, I was like, oh, it might be a good time to actually show this.
A lot of people are going to want to record, see the recording of that one for sure. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that. That was really great. We do actually have one more demo. Hunter, are you good to go?
Yep, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Cool. Yours was I actually don't remember what you said that you were going to demo.
It's just an auto close workflow to close child tickets. Because we had an issue with Automate and reporting where it was reporting on child tickets, and we just had a lot of child tickets that were open that weren't being closed. After doing some digging, I found that there's a variable defined for all tickets that are child tickets that's not defined for anything else, and that's the parent ticket ID. So if it's not defined, just it's not a child ticket. And I was able to set this workflow up to branch out by different boards because all the different boards, I'm sure as you guys know, have different IDs for the closing or the statuses. So this will go through and choose the board and then update the service ticket to close it if it's a child ticket. And I'm using a list comprehension here to verify the board ID in the board selection portion. And then all of that loops down to the update ticket portion, which I didn't want to just close child tickets and have them just close silently. I wanted to make sure there was a note to indicate why it was closed. So this runs for the child tickets item that I had defined up here, and we'll add a ticket note just saying that it was closed as it is a child of, and then it'll list the parent ticket. So much simpler than Gareth. Gareth was very impressive.
You're getting lots of hand claps.
Well, thanks. If I'll have any questions or anything, just let me know.
Any questions?
I was muted. I always get so excited when I see the hand pop up and then it quickly goes down.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you. Anybody? I'm just reading the chat here.
And I do have an example of one here as well. So you can see that it adds a note saying it's a child ticket of a specific ticket. And it adds it as I believe it's an internal note. Yes. Internal.
I think there's ticket coordinators everywhere who would rejoice to have this in place.
Yeah, our dispatch team was very happy when I put this in place, so they didn't have to look through those tickets anymore and close them.
All right, we got 5. We might have lost her. We got thank you for the demo. We've got 4 or 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Maybe has one question that needs help with a workflow, have an error?
I have a question to you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Can you spoil something else that was supposed to be announced at AdoCon just to freak everyone out?
Spoil something else. We're gonna try.
Everyone. It's been a great week, and we'll see you next week.
We're gonna try not to get blacklisted. There's always the rumors about the vendor that gets kicked out and blacklisted at AdoCon. We're gonna try to not be that vendor.
But that's why I thought I got to go this year.
Well, if there's no questions, keep talking.
Joe Woods was asking for folders in the chat.
Daniel,
Try to
write
wrap
that down.
this
I don't
up
think
before we
anybody's
start talking about negative time
idea.
savings.
I think someone needs to sit down with Daniel and explain exactly what folders are, so that
Jamie,
I
thank
don't
you for
understand
reminding me.
Daniel, when are we getting negative time savings?
Q5.
Q5. I love it.
I don't know why you guys think that negative time savings isn't functional.
Frank is saying, Frank, we didn't get any of that.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was saying that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, the stupid AI on my headset does all kinds of silly things. I was saying I don't understand why negative time savings isn't a real thing, man. There's a reason to have negative time savings because it could take longer because you want it to be consistent. I don't see what the problem is.
I agree.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I don't agree why Daniel won't allow it, to be honest.
It's a real thing, man. Just saying.
You should see him lay down the law during team meetings. It can be pretty intimidating.
True. Yeah, I put on a facade for this meeting, but really, I am the captain here.
All right, everybody. There's no reason to keep everyone on the phone. Thank you for the folks that demoed. All the demos I saw were freaking insane. Keep up the good work. I know it can be stressful demoing in front of a large group, but when you folks demo like this, it gives your peers ideas of things that they can run off and go build and automate. So thank you for doing that. Also, if you see any questions in the coop or any of the birds of a feather channel, please go and help your peers. And with that, have a good weekend. If you'll be at DattoCon, I'll see you there. Toodles, everyone. Have a good week.
Meow.
Meow.